It's the holidays. People tend to eat.
They do be eating.
Adventurers in D&D, though, sometimes food might be scarce, and there are a lot of monsters. What does a gelatinous cube taste like?
Oh, great. I'm so glad you asked. I brought a visual aid. So these are, we're looking at the different types of 5 flavors you can have here. The arrows that go between are ones that balance each other, and making sure this is getting picked up here. The ones with the double arrows are ones that are enhanced. So really keep this in mind as we're going through and talking about these monsters here. So the gelatinous cube, here's the thing about it. When it starts, like fresh out the gelatinous cube factory, it's got to be plain, aspic, like unflavored gelatin, disgusting. However, as it moves through the dungeon, it's marinating, much like tofu. It's picking up flavors. It's steeping. So really, I think it depends on where you are picking it up and at what phase of being gunkified, what's been dissolved in it. Like really, it's kind of anything. But like naturally, unflavored, inedible.
Would you ever use the gelatinous cube to cook something or tenderize?
You'd like to break it down a little bit?
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. I'm surprised no one has done gelatinous cube jello shots before.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine like a giant doing jello shots, but with gelatinous cubes and like they have some texture to them because of the stuff that's always floating around.
Yeah. They've got grit.
Yeah, like they just choke and cough out like a rusty sword or something.
Yeah, gelatinous cubes.
I'd lick it. That's it.
Owlbear?
Okay, so I think owlbears, I think that they would be too gamey. I don't think we actually would like want to eat them. And I know people would be like, oh, but they're like, like big, whatever. It's like, you don't eat bear unless you like really had to, right?
That's true.
Like commercially, whatever. I think that...
I can imagine raising bears or owlbears commercially.
Yeah, factory farming owlbears. I hate it. Dump it.
Life expectancy at that job is so low.
Now, we could get all into, the parts of the owlbear, right? But we know from the cow, who I assume has some similarities from the owlbear, that probably there will be a long muscle behind the owlbear's neck that is softer, that doesn't get moved a lot. That's the owlbear tenderloin.
Yeah.
And we're gonna need to put that in the pan. We're gonna give it a good sear. We're gonna take some of the salt. Maybe it's an elemental you found in the sea. I don't know, a saltwater elemental that you've reduced down or something. You're gonna put that in the pan and you're gonna let that sear for 5 to 8 minutes on one side. You need to get a good crust on your owlbear steak. You're gonna get a good crust, and you're not gonna peek. You're not gonna peek. You need to let it go the full 5 to 8 minutes until you flip it.
Complicated question.
Yes.
That we have mind flayers and we have gnome squidlings.
Yes.
First off, what does mind flayer taste like, do you think?
I don't want to eat. That runs into the issue of, can you ethically eat a mind flayer?
Yeah, it's complicated.
Because, like, if mind flayer tentacles are like a beard, in that you have to trim them constantly because they keep growing.
I am horrified by the idea of a mind flayer that is trimming its tentacles.
However, if it is trimming its tentacles, then you could probably eat those trimmings without feeling bad.
Okay.
Which I think would just be kind of gamey or calamari.
Yeah.
I think if the animal walks on 4 legs and isn't a centaur, that's probably my rule for whether or not you can eat it in D&D. 4 legs or more, no humanoid components. Behir, I'd eat Behir. It's got more than 4 legs.
So definitely not Minotaurs,
Not a minotaur. No, doesn't. It walks on 2 legs. Walks on 2
I
legs.
think cow centaurs.
Baryar.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like it.
Just to go to half. Never mind. I was like, you wonder if like a Baryar ever fell on the battlefield and they're like,
well,
but half of that guy.
that guy looks pretty good.
Half of that guy, I could go for a little bit of Baryar shanks.
Well, purple worms.
Purple worms fall into the same category as Remoras is for me, where it's like, that's basically just a giant shrimp.
Yeah.
That's a giant lobster. I think it'd be a little bit hard to cook because it's so big. You'd probably have to break it down a little bit. But like, I bet you could make, if you didn't want to cook it, I bet you could make some really good like sashimi or like some sushi or something along those lines. Just really just like unshell the purple worm and just eat it raw. I think it'd be totally fine.
All right, purple worm, obviously.
Okay,
we're gonna go for the easy one, right?
Yeah.
What is it? What is a purple worm? What is a worm?
Spice.
Obviously.
Oh. It does have to flow.
Yeah, just like a purple worm. No, it's got to have. Look, it's got some heat. It's got something. It's got some some sort of spice to it, that je ne sais quoi. Can't
Yeah.
say.
Gotta walk without rhythm.
Can't say. Yeah, you have to you have to cook it in a wok without rhythm.
Yeah, without rhythm.
Yes.
Otherwise, more will come.
Yes, exactly. Yes, no, see, you're an aficionado. It's fine.
But yeah.
Desperate situation. You're all out of food and you've killed a beholder. What does that taste like?
The whole thing about beholders is that like they create things based on their dreams,
Exactly.
And a beholder, when it is born when another beholder dreams of another beholder. So like, I feel like each beholder would taste different.
Yeah.
Because it would depend on what beholder dreamed it up. Because that would be like if you're dreaming up a creature into existence and you're thinking about every essence of that creature, and that is what causes it to spawn into existence, that would be what it would taste like. It would taste like whatever you were thinking about at the time. So you probably have some like really weird beholder flavors.
What if beholder tastes like hot dog? And that's actually the only reason you would want to fight one. It's not
Yeah.
it's like there's so much trouble. There's so much trouble.
So
Like
they're so gassy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if it's like it truly is, it's just like they plump when you cook them, ballpark Frank, beholder.
When you kill them, it smells like, when that hot dog water boil smell? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking of balloon, like if you licked a balloon.
Oh.
But now I'm going to hunt beholder.
I think
just for hot dogs.
Beholder tasting like hot dog, I think is like, that is one of the more cursed things ever. I love it.
Mimics.
What
What
do
do mimics taste like?
You know what? I think they always taste like a room temperature oyster.
Wow.
Listen,
Yeah.
I was asked to come here, stand in my truth, and talk about what the flavors of everything is.
It's true.
And when I think about mimics, I think about that big sloshy tongue. Has not been refrigerated.
Yeah.
It's just stanky,
Yeah. Salty.
room temperature oyster.
Well, what does a lich taste like?
They're undead.
Yeah.
Don't eat rotting flesh. They're undead.
That's fair. That's fair.
The worst, like, I guess, like, I'd say, like, maybe the bone marrow, but even then, it's like, would the bone marrow still be intact? Because it's no longer really producing blood.
Is it going to be rancid or what? Or maybe
I think it's rancid.
it's the most amazing thing ever because this is one of the most magical, powerful.
I think it's rancid.
I'm
it's definitely
I'm
rancid.
willing to. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna find out.
You're gonna try.
If I kill a lich,
You're gonna try.
I'm gonna see how that bone marrow is. Modron.
What do they taste like?
Yeah. What does a modron taste like? This is a hard one.
I mean, I know that like the gimme on the floor is like, ooh, it tastes like grease or it tastes like, like rust or whatever. I know you would think that. But actually, I think modrons, they're very difficult to eat.
Yeah.
Werther's Originals. That is absolutely what they taste like. You could not convince me otherwise.
Wow, you just nailed it.
You could not convince me otherwise.
I would have been lazy and said like pennies.
No.
Yeah.
No, Werther's Originals. No, listen, I have a complicated theory about like my favorite monster is the Al-miraj.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what would an Al-miraj taste like? And I'm like, oh, it tastes like flamin' hot cheese snacks for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's a little spicy,
Yeah.
evil, little, like, love them, like Feywild critter. Like, you're like, oh, it'd be so sweet, be like a little powder puff. No, flaming hot.
Spicy on the inside.
And on the outside sometimes.
Yeah, true. That's fair.
Are you going to ask me about a flumph?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay.
What does a flumph taste like?
Great.
You're out there druidless.
You're out there, Drew. What does a flumph taste like? So the regular flumph, as we know, is sort of that like goldenrod ochre color with like the teal little bits down towards the tendrils. I think that you're gonna get like kind of like a grassy profile. I think it's gonna be like a star fruit where you bite into it and you're like, that's light, that's bright, but I'm not getting a lot out of it. Conversely, because of the way it's sort of gelatinous, maybe it just tastes like a shark bite gummy, but only the white ones.
Yeah.
Now, in Spelljammer, there is Flapjack the pirate flumph.
That's true.
He's purple.
Yeah.
Definitely tastes like ube. But
Okay.
we would not eat him because flumphs are shaped like friends.
That's true.
Yeah, and so we wouldn't eat a flumph.
Shambling mound.
It tastes like kimchi. It's rotting, fermenting, not same thing.
I
but
should
could be
come.
close enough.
I should have gone there.
Because like when sometimes when like fruit will fall off a tree and it'll rot, but it'll also ferment.
Yeah.
So like if you've just got a big mound of vegetation, with a little bit of careful cleaning and care and making sure you don't just like immediately eat actual like molds that will kill you, I'm pretty sure like it's gonna taste like some form of kimchi or other fermented cabbagey sort of thing, which like I'm down for.
What about mayonnaise, which I hate? What tastes like
I
mayonnaise?
love mayonnaise.
Our friendship is over.
I love mayonnaise. I bet there's some ooze out there that tastes like mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's got to be the okra jelly.
Yeah.
A little bit. But I always think of them as like, they have the word jelly in the name. They're probably sweet like jam.
Yeah,
That's
it
what I
is
hope.
implied.
I'm going to be extremely gross, and I'm going to say that mayonnaise is not what one of them tastes like, but probably like something that's a byproduct of them. What's the one
Oh,
with the
that's
goat
disgusting.
head that
Oh, yeah.
balsa something?
Yeah, yeah.
They have those boils on them.
Yeah. Oh.
Mayonnaise and boil. I don't think this is appetizing at all, Tom.
Boil. Yeah. Troll boils.
Troll boils.
Troll.
Troll?
Yeah.
But why are we eating the troll?
Well, here's the thing.
the motivation?
Trolls regenerate so fast. Even in death, I kind of wonder, like, is this a meal that just kind of like reheats itself
Wow.
over and over
Ooh,
again?
So troll is like eating, okay, in that case, all right, so if trolls are like regenerating themselves, and I mean, they're trolls, we know them, we love them.
Yeah.
What if they just like always taste like day 5 leftover mashed potatoes from the fridge?
Whoa, that's very
Day
specific.
5.
Day
so
5
like
is rough.
so they're kind of getting the stank. They got the stank on them.
What does an abyssal chicken taste like?
I feel like abyssal chicken is spicy if you're a coward. Abyssal chicken is spicy if you get like 1 star of spice at the restaurant. You're like, oh my God, that was too hot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's actually that spicy. I think you're talking about like, this is not hot sauce.
Yeah.
Okay? This is more just like a little bit of heat.
Okay.
A little bit of something.
I love spicy nuggets when those come out, and I don't know why they cancel them.
I know. Yeah, ask me about any chult monster. They taste like dino nuggies.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's it.
That's it.
I told you, I thought about this a lot.
You have, and I appreciate you. I'm curious what Daisy tastes like in terms of meat.
I think like the tentacle just sort of like obliterated the flavor profile. It's like there's nothing. It's not even like
no.
unflavored gelatin at this point. It's like void. Now the tentacles,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
maybe they have a different taste.
That's where all the taste went. That's where all the flavor
yeah,
went.
it's sort of like all the flavor migrated into the tentacles.
Yeah.
And I think that they definitely taste like, and this is like, everybody's favorite flavor. If you have like a free couch that you leave out on the curb for a week and it just kind of gets all the weather damage and the rain, listen, the fabric, that taste, whatever that fabric tastes like to you, that's what the tentacles taste like.
What's the milk though?
I personally don't think that like the milk would taste any different. Like coming from I don't think like when you're dealing with,
Even with all that creepy
I
energy.
feel like the most it would do, it would be like, you know what, here's the thing. I don't think the milk would taste any different. I think the texture or the feeling of the milk would change. I think the milk would end up being like, it'd feel like it's carbonated or it's fizzy or something
Oh,
like
wow.
that.
Okay.
Because it's got that latent energy in it, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's not really doing anything with the milk, but like when you consume it, because you're absorbing the nutrients in the milk, you're also absorbing that energy. So you'd have that weird like extra like staticky fizziness to it. It'd feel like you're eating milk and Pop Rocks at the same time.
Tarrasque.
I think that a Tarrasque tastes like a cedar chest smells.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like I think you're like, that's going to be delicious to eat. And then you're like, this is wood. This is not pleasant. It splinters all the way down.
It's an ancient, massive creature.
It's like,
gotta taste like wood.
no, I think the flavor profile is purely like beyond botanical. Bed Bath & Beyond botanical, it's just not the good wood.
I know we already talked about Mind Flayer, but what about a gnome squidling? Does that flavor profile change?
Squidling.
They're adorable.
They are. Why are we talking about adorable animals? One just wouldn't. one just wouldn't.
Right.
No.
No.
Maybe it's like a centerpiece, but one wouldn't. We wouldn't eat one.
Okay. Is there anything? Well, red dragon. I feel like it's steak.
No, that's displacer beef. And I know you're going to say, oh, it's called a displacer.
Every time you try to stab it, your steak moves somewhere else on the...
If you go home right now, and you're watching this at home, open up your monster manual and you'll find out it actually does not say displacer beast. It says displacer beef. Every time you try to eat it, it's gone. It's gone.
Boop, boop,
yeah, no, it's the meal without end.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we shared this time.
We uncovered a lot more monstrous horrors, the flavors within.
You're welcome, everyone.